Get this started.
You are now witnessing the Eddie Block and Joe Show.
Yo, it's the Eddie Block Show. Drunk uncle on the side, ready, let's go. Hey, it's the Eddie Block Show. If you agree or disagree, let them know. Yo, drunk uncle, drink more. We got 2 hours to chat like strange animals. Eddie Block and drunk uncle are great hosts, and we got 50 minds for the trolls. Let's roll. Yo, it's the Eddie Block Show. Drunk uncle on the side.
3 likes already, wow.
Hey,
What's up, Mike Jones?
if you agree or disagree, let them know.
What's up,
Yo,
Snookies?
drunk uncle, drink more. We got 2 hours to chat like strange animals. Eddie Block and drunk uncle are great hosts, and we got 50 miles for the trolls. Let's roll. Drunk and Eddie.
You guys have a good Christmas?
John Wick and Steve Pence.
Johnny, you got the right diet. What happened to you last night, Alexis? I played your frickin' song. Unless you had a different name. All that time saying I gotta play your song, and I go over there and I play this song, and you don't even show up. What's up, Willow? We got Johnny. What's going on here? Johnny's in trouble. Yeah, Willow said she had a bad Christmas.
We don't play around. These minds just might lay you out. If you wild out, Carol will put you in time out.
Mine was alright. Stayed up real late last night. I haven't slept in like 2 or 3 days.
Ready, let's go. Hey, it's the Eddie Block Show. If you agree or disagree, let them know. Yo, drunk uncle, drink more. We got 2 hours to chat like strange animals.
And last night we had a little party up in here.
We got 50 miles for the trolls. Let's roll. What's up, Carla? In Colorado, Nagasaki, Dar, and Nicole. We all proud Americans. Got rides a Harley. Ill mega sheepdog. I never
What's up, Cora? Mike Jones, you couldn't make comments. I don't know what happened to that. What's up, Jasmine?
Slam another beer.
Dude.
All patriots, yeah, we know the team.
What's up, David?
Keeping their eyes peeled. Biden sucks. Yeah, we seen it.
Freaking last night,
and AJ Alexander,
I will talk about it.
my mini-me, you my man, bro. Penelope, DJT, and Sugar, and Brownie, and Panda, and Rooster. Bree and Al from Idaho. Bounce and Dorothy, ain't no rhinos. Everybody in the chat, no shady links. If I write another
Oh yeah, I had waffles and chicken. Mr. Bill was in there last night hanging out with us.
Eating Daisy and Kelly. Titty 1, titty 2, it's time to rally. Yo, it's the Eddie Block Show. Drunk uncle on the side, ready, let's go.
Drunk uncle's here early. This motherfucker didn't even call me or text me or nothing on fucking Christmas. Can you guys believe that stuff? My own kind of best friend. I call him my best friend. This guy couldn't even text me Merry Christmas yesterday. Oh my gosh, can you believe that stuff, folks? See how he is? He's such a bad guy. I'm guessing he drank so much at Christmas that he just fucking passed out when he got home. Let's see what happened. Is that what happened? I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. He needs a break. Drunk needed a break from me. Huh. Dude, I mean, I've never seen Drunk Uncle in sweatpants and pajamas before. He's in his pajamas right now. Yeah, I got on green. No one showed up yesterday, Mr. Bill? Oh, sorry. It's just kidding, but I know I didn't make it. Uh-oh, we're in trouble. Betty White's here. Everybody's got to be good now. Debbie Ann. Dude, I broke my chair. I need a new chair. Let's see. Jules, I got the one in the chamber. What's up, drunk uncle? Did you have a good Christmas?
It's going all right.
Uh-oh, we're in trouble now. Gra had to show up.
Is this a private party? Can anybody join?
You can join, I guess. You can join.
You guess.
Yeah. Hold on, let me turn my headphones down. I had it turned all the way up last night from the music.
Yeah, I heard you was jamming into the early morning hours.
Yeah, Vinny Wynn stayed up with me until like, 2 o'clock in the morning my time. So it was 5 o'clock in the morning his time. Something like, I don't know.
Wow.
No, maybe it was more like 1 o'clock in the morning, but still. I found out that Vinny Wynn likes house music. We were playing house music at
Elevator music.
What's that, drunk uncle?
I was doing the house music sound.
Oh, I thought you said I was making my thing was messing up again. So did you have a good Christmas, Gra?
Yeah, I had a good time. I had a good Christmas. Sure did. That's quiet, you know. The kids just wanted cash. That made it easy, right?
Hey, I want some cash.
Me too. Hope, we're still waiting for Hope to buy us a house. Hi, Hope.
Yeah, we're still waiting on that. She's supposed to buy us a house, but you know how that is.
She's looking. She's still looking.
Freaking drunk, how was your Christmas? What happened yesterday? Way too much drinking?
Some sort of whiskey.
Some sort of whiskey? You don't even know what kind of whiskey it was?
No,
Doesn't matter, does it, drunk? Doesn't matter, right?
I assume it was probably high-end whiskey. Would be my assumption. I think it had the word pig in it.
Pig in it.
But
Whiskey with pig.
Yeah, I think.
It wasn't named Pig, but it's got a pig on the bottle. That's that. Is it the peanut butter whiskey?
No, this is just regular whiskey.
Hold on, let me look this up. Yeah, I fucked up yesterday. I let my brother and his wife try my Crown Royal salted caramel. Shit.
I'm trying to find it, but I went to my aunt's house, and they live on the lake, or she lives on the lake. We lost my uncle not too long ago, but her son-in-law, he's really cool. I'm sure I brought him up on here before, but he was actually not too long ago on Fox News, and I was trying to find. They interviewed him. Somebody interviewed him. I'd never seen him before, but I was trying to pull it up to see to share it, but couldn't find it.
Is it called Orphan Barrel Muckety Muck? Does it have two
I'm pretty
pigs?
sure it had the name Pig in it.
Had the name Pig in it. Okay. Let's see. Whistle Pig, Piggy Bank Rye Whiskey. Now you got me curious.
Piggy Whistle Pig.
Then there's the
bottle.
The Flaming Pig, Black Casket, Irish Whiskey, Whistle Pig.
Whistle Pig. I think it was Whistle Pig.
It was Whistle Pig? Holy shit.
Yeah.
Whistle Pig, the Boss Hog, is, Whistle Pig is like $1,000 bottle of whiskey.
Oh.
So you got drunk off of some really expensive shit last night, it looks like.
Damn it, I was just taking shots, too. I probably should have been sipping on it.
Yeah. Depends on which one you get. Well, like, there's one here for like $72. Then this one's $909. One for $1,500. So yeah, that's some pretty expensive shit there you were drinking. Pretty expensive. Snooki says she had a date last night. Snooki's had a video date last night. Interesting. A 3-hour wonderful video date. That's interesting. Good for you, Snookies. We had a show last night. We were just playing music, and then I broke my chair. I broke it dancing, kind of. Anyways, so did you get anything good for Christmas? Drunk Uncle normally gets good stuff.
Oh, that was what it looked like.
It was what?
Just looking at the pictures, I think may have been that $900 bottle.
That $900 bottle? Wow.
Yeah, I would have grabbed some of the other stuff, but he brought it down. He's like, I got this stuff. He like pulled it out of the cabinet. And
I was going to say, remind me to don't break out the 100-year-old scotch for Druck to drink if he doesn't know what the hell he's drinking.
Yeah.
Don't waste the good stuff, man.
I was pouring light though, because I assumed that this, you know, just by the lives that I was around, they you know, they like to imbibe in the finer things in life.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. You
I
know,
was pouring small, but then you know I was just.
I don't know. Like when I buy the expensive stuff, I'll only do one. The very first one that I drink is the expensive stuff. Or when I have the expensive stuff, I only drink one nice little freaking snifter of it, and then I'll switch on to something else because you don't want to get drunk off of that stuff. That's a waste.
Yeah, it is a waste, isn't it?
That's something that's like a dinner whiskey. You know, you have it after dinner or something like that, or like with the dessert type thing. That's one of those kind of whiskeys. Betty you're giving away your lab puppy? Why are you giving away a lab puppy, Betty White?
I don't think she's giving them away.
Oh, she's selling them?
Just buy.
I think so.
Oh, anybody want to buy a lab puppy? Ooh, my bad. My bad. No, thank you. I got enough trouble with Donnie. He freaking... Oh, this little brat. He has his treats here. You know, I always have treats here. And I went to go just now. My stepdad gave me the rest of the ham, and he wanted me to cut the ham bone off of it so he could make some kind of split pea soup or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
So,
hell yeah. I'm
cutting off the ham bone here, and I give a couple pieces to Donnie, and then I go to take it back to my stepdad's house, and I had to get the mail, and our quad, I got to rebuild the carburetor. So I took my truck. I come back down, and fucking dumbass has the whole bag of dog treats over there, you know. And like I come around the corner, and then he looked like he just wasn't normal. I was like, "What'd you do with the dog treats?" And I went right over to his bed where he hides it. You know, his bed is, and sure enough, there's the bag of dog treats. He didn't get into it, but it was like the minute I left the property with my truck, he went straight to that fucking bag, grabbed those treats, and took them.
That's like twice in the past week or so, right?
Yeah. Before, I used to just leave the treats right here. And so I come in, and like right here, there's 3 or 4 paw prints. So he jumped up on the table looking for the ham bone. He didn't see that. He said, fine, I'm going to grab those fucking treats. And he grabbed the bag of treats and then took them outside. Little asshole.
Maybe one of his siblings used to keep him in check.
Maybe Brownie used to kick his ass all the time. Who knows? Little asshole.
Don't you do that. Get me in trouble, you bitch.
Right? Anyways, deep pit ham is pretty good. I've actually had that. Like at our Elks Lodge, we have deep pit barbecues at our Elks Lodge. Can you punch Kamala in the face? If you're a woman, go ahead. If you're a guy, no.
Yes, please. Have my blessing.
Yeah, women can punch her, but if you're a guy, no, you can't. And only punch her if she does something to make you punch her. But I think she always does that. Doesn't she?
So Eddie, I was talking to a couple of girls earlier. We was over playing music in one of their Discords, and they're like, "You girls should come on the show sometime, you know, with Eddie. I'm sure it'd be, you know, it's like Christmas." Like we did one time, and we talked football and we talked cars, and we put all the guys to shame. I'm like, yeah, probably so.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny though. They're fine. Oh, I'm not going to say who. They can.
Oh,
shout it out
I can
themselves.
I could guess.
Yeah.
Somebody with an initial there. Somebody with a somewhat famous name. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm guessing. Mm-hmm. I think I'm guessing the right names there. I don't think it would be Hope because she comes over all the time. Yeah, Hope got to hold her nephew. She got to hold her 1-month-old nephew. Sorry, guys, I'm kind of tired. I haven't slept the last couple of days. And then last night, me and Vinny went staying up all night playing music. It was cool. I had fun. We had the Briggle brothers in there for a little bit. Who else was in there? Irving was there all night long with us, too. Irving stayed with us all night. We had fun. Anyways.
Drunk, did you have to work today, Drunk?
No.
Oh.
No.
The days.
Slept most of the day thinking that possibly I had class, but I don't guess I had class. Didn't seem like it in the group text, so.
There
So I
you
didn't
go.
take any medicine, so I'm like all like today.
I can tell, but so am I, so that's good. Maybe we'll make it a short one. It's the day after Christmas. Mr. P. Flyer says, I just got arrested for punching myself in the face. They said it was because I'm a guy. Okay. You got me lost on there. Is that...
Yeah, I'm like, may need a little more explanation there.
I think I don't know if he's trying to make a joke and it just went way over my head or what.
He's good about that. It's at least as long as they're funny to him, it doesn't matter.
Man, Gra's on a roll talking shit about people tonight, isn't he?
I am. Why? It's Christmas.
No, yesterday
You know
was
me,
Christmas.
That's what I do. You know me. That's what I do. All in good fun, my friend.
I know. Play a
Hey,
little.
if I didn't like you, I wouldn't give you a hard time. You little short fucker.
Yeah, you fucking old crotchety old man. Fucking biker dude. Oh my gosh. Anyways, well, I guess we can get. I don't know if I have a lot of news today. Let's get to some of the news. And actually, hold on, I got to do something. Since Gra's here, this actually gives me a chance to fix something on here. Oh, I did fix it already. Oh wait, though. Now I got to add Gra's picture on here somehow.
Oh, I got a shirt to show you, and Gra and Eddie will definitely get it.
You got a shirt to show me?
Yeah. You'll get, both of you will get it.
Hold on, let me Jiu-jitsu, train like a beast.
But look what it is.
It's a gorilla.
Yeah, remember? When I was on
Oh,
mushrooms?
when he was all on the mushrooms.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There you go.
We remember. You probably don't.
All right, I just got to say something real quick, guys. So I can't... We used to be able to play some, like 1 or 2 songs on YouTube, and now if you play even one song on YouTube, they kick you the fuck off. So don't ask me for songs when I'm on YouTube. And for that one person that kept asking to play that song, I said when you come last night, if you go over to Twitch or to Rumble, I was going to play that song. And I played the song, but you weren't there. So you guys, I can't play songs on YouTube anymore. They got really strict all of a sudden. I don't know why the fuck they are.
Well, you're not supposed to cuss either.
Oh, yeah. Well, fuck YouTube.
I know, right?
But I mean, before you could play a song and they would just say, okay, you can't monetize this song. And I never monetized my fucking shows anyways. So I was like, so fucking what? But now, the minute you start playing songs, they shut your stream down. Like almost instantly. So yeah, no more. Or they don't shut it down, but then they take it down. I've had a couple of videos taken down now because of songs. So... But we went last night on Rumble and Twitch, had no problems whatsoever. We played songs. Andy, you can go fuck yourself.
Well, shirts where I used to work.
I can't even read that. It's so small. You got to tell us what it says, girl.
Oh, you can't?
I see a phone number. I see a, I can't read it, girl. You got it. I don't know if it's my eyes or.
It just says Resurrection Cycles.
Resurrection Cycles? Oh, right on.
Yep.
Right on. There you go. Next it would be because a streamer sings his or her own song out of tune. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm definitely tired. All right, well, let's see. Let's get to the news then, finally. I shouldn't say finally. We just got here. I'm just out of it today, guys. Don't know why. I haven't slept much lately. And I only have like 1, 2, 3, 4 news things. But we have the Twitter files, so that, you know, is going to take a long time. Every time we do the Twitter files, it takes them forever. What's up, Polly Wally? Polly was in there dancing with us last night. You know what? I'll do this one last. Because the Twitter files, we're going to talk about the Twitter files last. Let's see what's next. I think the next one's pretty fucking good. So, I don't know. Did you guys hear what happened over the weekend? Freaking, Greg Abbott Greg Abbott sent a whole bunch of illegal aliens on buses, not just to Washington, D.C., but he sent them to Kamala Harris's house. Because you guys know Kamala Harris is the czar for the border, right?
Didn't he already do that once, or was that somebody else's house?
I'm not sure. Let's read what it says. It says, White House condemns Texas governor after migrants were dropped off outside Kamala Harris's home. Abbott abandoned children on the side of the road in below freezing temperatures. He didn't abandon them anywhere. Kamala Harris is the czar of the border. She's supposed to be taking care of people. Yeah, but he did it on Christmas night, Christmas Eve this time. Migrants arrived on Christmas Eve outside Vice President Kamala Harris's home. The move comes as the future of immigration policy known as Title 42 remains uncertain. They're saying, he abandoned children on the side of the road in below freezing temperatures on Christmas Eve. How dare he? What about the parents that drugged them fucking across a desert in the freezing cold? I don't have enough windows to put 3 people up. Hot damn. So that's why Graw is off screen. We normally only do this with me and Drunk Uncle. If I start adding a picture of everybody up here, then you won't be able to see the websites. So,
and they're complaining about dropping them off at Kamala's. What about the thousands of them right now sleeping on the sidewalk in El Paso where the temperature is what? Somebody check the temperature in El Paso. I guarantee it's 25.
You think it's that cold in El Paso?
Oh, yeah, at least. If not 30, 32 for sure.
No way.
Good question, though.
It's 53 degrees, right? It's 53 degrees right now. However, it goes down to 33 degrees in the morning.
So there you go.
So it gets in their 30s. It gets in their 30s, right? But
that's cold. 50 outside, 50 degrees. That's cold, man.
Yeah. But I mean, you know what? What's up, Mordecai? It's the parents are the ones dragging these kids across there. So I love how they say, it's Abbott's fault for dragging those kids and putting them out on the street in front of the Kamala Harris's house at night on Christmas Eve. But what about their parents that drug them across the desert? You're not condemning their parents, are you? No, oh my gosh. We welcome you here. Thank you for walking across the border and bringing all of your unvaccinated kids and all your kids with all these diseases that are going to make our kids sick. You know, and I'm not talking about vaccine by the new vaccine. I'm talking about, the old school vaccines, the shit that's been in effect forever.
Like Mike Jones is wanting me to preach. Let's go over to Twitch after the show and we can get into it. We can talk about what we can't talk about. Yeah. And I would love to do that. I would love to do that.
Yeah, we can't talk. There's so much stuff you can't talk about on YouTube. It sucks. It sucks.
It does. It does.
So let's see. It says Democrats have blamed the situation on Abbott, who since April has bused migrants from Texas to major Democratic-led cities, including Washington, New York, Chicago, and Philly. Think about this. Let's see. From Texas to D.C., what do you think? It's probably like a 30-hour bus ride? What do you think? So let's say it costs $4,000 a bus round trip. Do you know how much it costs to take care of an illegal alien in your state? He's saving his taxpayers so much freaking money. Let's see. We can look that up, I bet, right here. Cost of a migrant. Because you can't say illegal on there per year.
I'm going to say $25,000 minimum.
$25,000.
Remember the commercials? For only the price of a cup of coffee, you can sponsor a child and whatever.
Yeah.
See, cost of illegal immigration by state. Let's look at Texas. Let's see, the Southwest. The cost of illegal immigration totals $21.76 billion. That adds up to approximately 8% of the estimated $250 billion United States illegal immigrant cost. And this was in 2018. So that's probably triple now. So, well, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. $500 billion divided by 50 states. So that's $1 billion a state.
That's, yes. No, that's
if you average it out. Now, of course, places like Maine, places like, I don't know, probably don't have a huge Hispanic problem over there or illegal alien problem. But they might. You never know.
500 billion divided by 50 is 5 billion a state, isn't it? Am I right?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was wrong. 10 billion a state. I was wrong. $10 billion a state.
Yeah.
So I'm going to guess states like Arizona, California, and Texas are probably higher than the 10 billion average. They're probably more like 30, 40 billion dollars a year, if not more. Yeah. Thank you, Andy. Mr. P. Flyer says the bus had to stop for fuel somewhere on that journey. Why didn't the parents buy a coat at some mega fuel station? You can't tell me they absolutely had no money on them, right? I mean, you can't travel with no money on there. Especially, think about this. They paid a coyote to get across. Everybody thinks, hey, they just walked across. Do you know what? They don't just walk across, folks. For the same reason that Americans don't just go across the border. The minute you get to a border, there's somebody there by some cartel member that if you hadn't paid a fee to be taken by the cartel member, you better pay them right then and there.
Well, not to mention, if you don't pay then, you owe them. So that's what the little wristbands are for. You got to stay in contact and pay them whatever it is they want to charge you.
Oh, yeah. And not only
after you get it.
Yeah, they work. So I met this when I was doing plumbing in San Francisco. I met this guy. I had to go work at his house, and he had a bar like that. And the house that I had to do the work on was the house where those girls stayed. So what this guy did was he brought them over illegally. He charged them for living at his house. He charged them for coming over for their coyote fees, and he made them work at his bar. And they had to pay it off. But how can you pay somebody off when you're having to pay him like a huge amount of money for rent, a huge amount of money? He charged him for the PG&E, the electric, the gas, the water. And then he charged him for food. And then he made him work at his bar all night long. Those girls are never going to get out from underneath that.
And I'm sure you've seen the things where the migrant workers, where they put them, whatever fields need, picking beans, cotton, whatever it is,
Yeah.
And they put them to work and have these old radio trailers that don't even have toilets in them,
Oh, yeah.
Put them up in there. And they've got the store on site where they never go to town. They buy from the commissary, and everything's 10 times higher than what it is.
And it's taken out of your check.
Store.
It gets taken out of your check right away.
Exactly. So they usually wind up, if they're lucky, they break even every week or whenever they get paid. It's a big racket. It's a hell of a racket. It's been going on for a long time.
Well, I gotta be honest. Like the field workers, I know they make good money, because now they have all these farm labor stuff, but they still get their money, and they get paychecks, right? So what they do is you hire the farm laborers through a farm labor company. And like in California, you'll see these buses, and on it in big bold letters, they have farm labor contractor. So that way that they don't get pulled over, by immigration, stuff like that. They don't get fucked with immigration. And so what they do is the farmer pays the farm worker labor company. The farm worker company hires the illegals. They pay them. And then what they do is every Friday or every other Friday when they get paid, they take them to a specific, because they're all illegals, right? They don't have bank accounts. They take them to a specific, like
check cashing place.
Check cashing
check
place.
Cashers.
Yeah, it's normally like a little Mexican meat market. They go in there, they pay like 3% to get their checks cashed. And the guy who brings them in gets a certain amount of money. The company who sent them there gets a certain amount of money. It's all just a big old scam,
Eddie, and I'm gonna shout it out a little bit, because I know from the opposite perspective of what's going on. When I was working constructions, some of the best guys that I ever met on the construction site that actually worked under me, I was their foreman, were illegals, and they were getting this almost the same pay that I was. They were getting journeyman carpenter wages. Great guys. I'd learned Spanish from them. They learned English from me. Of course, the first thing you learn is the cuss words.
Oh yeah.
But just some of the greatest guys, some of the greatest people, the best work ethics ever. We'd have, I'm going to say white guys come out and they're like, oh, I know how to do everything. I'm like, oh, that's great. See you in the morning. Then they don't show up, or they show up 2 days a week or whatever. The work ethic sucked. If you could be the best carpenter out there, if you don't show up, you're worthless to me.
Oh yeah.
These guys were great, and a couple times I took them to cash their check to the check cashing place.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, where do you go now? I'm like, I go to the bar, and they go, okay, we go too. Had a blast. I took them to the bar with me.
Yeah.
Had a freaking blast. I can't tell the story here, but I'll tell you sometime later.
Yeah. Well, and I'm probably sure every lunchtime they had a little circle, and they had a little cooker, where they heated up their tortillas, and they had this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I'll put it this way. I'll make this real short and sweet. Was one of the most phenomenal nights I had in one of the little bars that I go to. The girls came in. I'll leave it at that. But they figured that was the norm. You know what I mean? They're like, does this happen every night? Does a girl always get up there with the corn dog and do what she did? And I didn't tell them that didn't necessarily happen every night.
Oh my goodness! The picture you just put in my head. Oh my goodness!
I know, and they're like, "We want to go back to your bar." I'm like, "No."
Yeah, here's actual video of the aliens getting dropped off at the bus. Looks like they're getting on the bus here, though. I wonder if they made them get back on the bus and sent them somewhere else. Look, they all had blankets. Look. They were giving everybody blankets. They were being taken care of. And Panda, I gotta take Panda to the vet. She did this earlier today, too. She's like having trouble breathing, I think. It's like phlegm's getting stuck in her throat or something. I think she gets allergies sometimes up here. You're okay, mamas. Remember, take a deep breath. Just relax. Anyways, all right, let's get on to dude, this is the last one. There's not a lot of news today. So I think you guys will find this interesting. So, everybody, once you hit a certain age, you're allowed to collect Social Security, right? So if you were a millionaire drunk uncle, would you collect Social Security? Uh-oh, did I lose drunk uncle?
No.
Oh, there you go. I only see you on a little screen when I'm looking at other stuff, and it looked like you said something. If you were a multi-millionaire and you were over 65, would you collect Social Security?
Yeah, that's my money.
You still would take it?
No, but, if you're paying into it your whole life, you might see it as, that's my fucking money. I don't care. I do have a bond. I'm smart.
Okay, how about this? What if you're the president of the United States that complains about how other people are being treated and how everybody should be making a fair wage? Would you think that you should be taking that money from Social Security when we're running out of it?
No, you should be paying out of your estate to make it as even as possible.
Well, get this. Our lovely president, Joe Biden, and his wife, Jill, are both collecting Social Security. Dietrich says, remember the Bobby? He doesn't say that's my money. He said that's my purse, doesn't he? That's my purse. But,
I don't know you.
But yeah, that's funny. That's funny, Dietrich. John McCain draws, but I mean, okay, well, how about this? Let's put it in this perspective. It says as American citizens over the age of 70, the Bidens are entitled to those benefits, even if they do hold the highest offices in the country. The Social Security Administration notes that the recipients can still work and claim benefits just as the Bidens do. And they are entitled to the full amount as long as they have reached full retirement age, which is currently 67 years old. So how much does POTUS and FLOTUS receive from Social Security every month? So let's look at his taxes. So the Bidens started putting their taxes out a few years ago. And with their latest 2021 filing is on public record at the official White House website. On the 1040 form, line 6A, lists the total Social Security benefits received that year. Their combined amount for both Joe and Jill comes to $54,665 a year. That breaks down to roughly $4,555 a month, or $22.77 for each of them. So
they decide to pay for Hunter's hooker habit.
Yeah, for his son's hooker habit. Stephen Atkins, I don't restream, especially Oreo and first responders. I don't give those guys my attention. Those guys are a bunch of douchebags. So I'm not gonna restream them. If you guys want to go see what's going on at the border, go over. You guys can go watch their show. But I'm not big fans of those two at all, by any means. But yeah, so how much is Joe Biden worth?
I wonder how much he spends on girls' shampoo.
I guess if I earn that money, I'll be taking it. But you can't be a hypocrite like that and talk about. Guys, I am not gonna pull up first responders media. Okay, number one, he gives people strikes for restreaming them, and number two, I'm not gonna. Josh and Taco Joe are a bunch of douchebags. I'm not gonna restream them. They don't deserve the credit. If you guys want to go see it, go to their channel. So let's see how much Joe Biden is worth. I should say, when he was vice president, his net worth was $2.5 million, but now his net worth shot up to $8 million apparently. So if you have $8 million, I don't think then you should be doing it. I think if you got $8 million, you should be good to go. What do you think, Drunk? I know you said it's my money and I should take it.
It depends on how you view the world. If you're like a wannabe like socialist, then no. You should be giving out pretty much all your money except for what you absolutely need to live by to make the playing field as even as possible.
Yeah, Drunk's got a very good point right there. If they're true socialists, which the guy himself, Marx or whatever, he believed in it so much he gave away, I think it was him, he gave away everything he had and he owned because he believed in socialism. May not have been Marx, but it was one of those guys.
Okay, real quick, Dietrich's. I'm not talking bad about first responders. I love first responders. The channel's name is called First Responders Media. He's not a first responder. He just goes and follows them around. I'm not talking bad about first responders by any means. Those are the people that come out and save your ass. Hell no, I don't talk bad about them. Anyways, go ahead, Grant. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, that was it. The point that Drunk was making, that if they're making this big socialist move, and if they truly believed in socialism, they would give away every damn thing that they have and live like the rest of them live it.
Right? Like Nancy Pelosi,
so you know
she believes in that.
So you know they're all just fake bullshit. They're the elitists. They think they're smarter than the rest of our country. I know we can't. I'm not going to talk any more about it because we can't. You know.
And I wanted to mess with Hope a little bit. She says she left her back door open, and that's why it froze open. That's gotta suck. Okay. That's gotta suck.
Oh my goodness.
Right? Freaking, because I mean, we've all done it. You don't close your door all the way. The thing is, I know when like on my new truck, if you don't shut the door all the way, the steps stay out. So when you're leaving, if you don't hear it go back in, you know your door was still left open. Plus, on my truck, it leaves the lights on for 15 minutes or whatever. Hope says I didn't leave it open. So did somebody break into your car then, maybe? I hope not. And now talking about donating. Yesterday, you know, you guys know I was raising the money. I called my buddy at the waffle shop and I was like, hey, you know, can you do me a favor? Is there any way, I know you're open on Christmas, can I buy 60 meals from you for the veterans? And he said, he's like, yeah, so he owns the waffle shop, and then which is like a, what do you call those? A franchise, right? And he just opened up his new store, which is called Daddy Waffles. So he kept Daddy Waffles open, but closed the waffle shop. So he reopened the waffle shop just to serve me meals for the veterans. And when he called me with the price, he's like, you know, because I ordered 60 meals, you know, and he gave it to me for because he gave it to me. He was going to tell me a price, and then he's like, do you need a receipt? I'm like, no, you know, I'm paying cash for this. Don't worry, you don't need it. So he gave it me 60 meals for $800, and he doubled the meals. So he added like fried chicken, all kinds of good stuff. So he took real good care of me, and we went and served the veterans a nice breakfast yesterday. Now, I asked for some help with donations, and me and Drunk were going to give away some prizes, but only like 6 people donated. So everybody that donated, send me what kind of shirt you want, what size you wear, and if you want a Drunk Uncle shirt, an Eddie shirt, or a Donnie shirt, and you will get that. So anybody who donated money to the veterans gets a shirt then.
Eddie, would it be too much grifting if we asked for donations to like the first of the year for that specifically?
I guess we could. You know
what I'm saying?
I mean, I already paid for it, but I pay. Let's see, the food.
I know.
The food was $800, and I spent about $1,500 on gifts. So total, it cost me about $2,300, plus gas driving back and forth and stuff. But
yeah, I mean, as long as you tell everybody what's up with that, I don't think people would have a problem pitching in.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you still want to donate, it pops. Actually, I forgot to take that thing down, so it pops up every once in a while. But just so you know, we did give a lot of stuff to the veterans yesterday. So, just saying.
Yeah, and you got what, Cash App, and you got Venmo and PayPal and all that, right?
Yeah, we got Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. There's even like a Gift Send Go. Cash App and Venmo are the two best ones because they don't take a percentage out. But yes, we took good care of the veterans yesterday. And my next one is coming up. It's Armed Forces Day, which is in March, I believe. That's the next time we're gonna do this again. And my buddy, Amar, he's like, Eddie, anytime you want to do this, just let me know. Give me enough time, and I'll get the food and I'll cook it for you. And I said, well, I do it 4 times a year. He's like, well, then you're getting this for 4 times a year. So that's pretty awesome of my friend Amar. Real nice guy. I mean, where else are you going to get somebody to open up their restaurant, give you like 120 meals for $800? Of fried chicken, eggs, bacon, all the good stuff. So I appreciated him. Anyways, now let's do the Twitter files. You guys ready for the Twitter files, Drunk Uncle? Did you read any of these yet? Because I haven't.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you read them, bro?
Yeah, I have. But yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
I wasn't aware that they dropped any new ones.
He dropped one today.
Yeah. Number 9, right?
I don't know. It's hard to keep track of.
Yeah, I believe this is their number 9.
It's possible. Yeah, I think so. So it says the Twitter files, and they called this one the COVID files. It says how Twitter rigged the COVID debate. This is number 1. It says by censoring info that was true but inconvenient to U.S. government policy. And by the way, YouTube, anybody out there, we are just reading what Elon Musk is saying happened on Twitter. We're not saying we believe in COVID, we don't believe in COVID. We're not going either way. We're just reading to you what Twitter said. Because I don't know what he said. I wait to read this till I read it with you guys, okay? It says, by censoring info that was true but inconvenient to U.S. government policy. How many people have been put in Twitter and Facebook jail over the Rona? Right? Over that jab. Let's see. By discrediting doctors and other experts who disagreed. Gee, Grod, didn't we do something on remdesivir that got taken down immediately?
I do believe we did. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I think it was actual doctors who spoke in front of Congress that have an actual PhD and are licensed practicing doctors.
Imagine that. But they're conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, imagine that. And then by suppressing ordinary users, including some sharing the CDC's own data. You mean to tell me that they kicked off people or blocked them for sharing something the CDC said? No way.
Couldn't be.
No.
Couldn't be. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Right? I don't, and remember we used to always say, I can't believe how a company who's not a doctor can tell us that we're speaking medical misinformation when they're not fucking doctors. Who are
what
they
about
to
the
say
guy that was in control of everybody? Fauci.
Yeah.
That actually did not have any patients. He wasn't a doctor.
Yeah, Fauci hasn't had patients in, 40 years?
30 years.
Something like that? 20, 30, 40 years? He's never seen a patient. Never seen a patient. Trying to kill us. He must be behind. He's saying last week it didn't matter where they were sent to. It was quote everywhere. Oh my gosh, I was going to go somewhere with this and I forgot now. I forgot. Because I'm tired.
Yeah, Time to Kill probably needs to refresh. Sorry.
By the time he hears it, it'll be like half an hour.
Yeah, I know.
Because he's not hearing it. But yeah, so we're talking about Twitter. Let's see. Censoring that wasn't true, inconvenient U.S. government policy, discrediting doctors. I mean, how many times did you have doctors? There was some doctors from, what do you call it? From Bakersfield. I think they're from Bakersfield. Remember, there was 2 doctors that were totally talking anti-Rona. And remember, they got fined. I think they lost their jobs or something like that. All kinds of crazy
Isn't
stuff.
one of the first people to speak out against it, like they were from that lab? Didn't they just like disappeared or died or something? Does anybody remember that? It was very, very early on. It was the first person that spoke out about it, like that maybe it possibly came from there and they like worked there and they like he just died or disappeared or something.
Yeah, he disappeared. Yeah,
Did he
remember
really?
that well.
Really?
Yeah, the same with the little girl, the little gal that was on Tucker Carlson a couple times.
Interesting.
That was here in the state. Whatever happened to her?
Yeah, that's true. Before I do this, I forgot somebody wanted to come on the show. Let me see if they're available right now.
Who that?
I can't say it until they tell me they want to be on the show.
Oh,
I'm already.
I have to refresh my Discord. Be right back.
You go and you do that.
You do that over there.
I'm gonna text them, see if they want to do it. I'll put I'm live right now. He told me to tell him when he's live so he can come join the conversations. He wanted to talk about some stuff. We'll see. We'll see if he shows up. Some other stuff. I don't know, Drunkus, you were away. I don't know if I talked to you or not. Over the weekend, I found reports of, they have the dispositions of the January 6th committee. They've published like almost all of them. So like they have Enrique Tarrio speaking. They have, who else? Jeremy Bertino, which is Noblebeard, speaking.
Actual audio or just like
no.
transcripts?
It's transcripts, so it's really boring to read. But where was it now? It's January 6th, house.gov. That's where we gotta go. January 6th, because I looked it up. January. Here we go. Oh no. Oh look, wait a minute. Hey, they got a whole thing on. I just found a whole thing on me on January 6th. Holy shit!
Do we want to talk about that, Eddie?
What's that?
Maybe not.
Oh,
Do we want to talk about that on here?
Oh shit! I found a picture that I haven't seen before. Okay, I gotta save this picture. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know. But the January 6th stuff, I think we can maybe talk about eventually. The other stuff. But we could talk about, like I've been reading Enrique. That's where it came from. Eric must have read the story. So apparently, Enrique somewhere on Telegram or something like that, he called some congresswoman the C word. And so she interrupted his deposition, right? And Congress people are allowed to come in and ask questions. So she comes in, she's like, yeah, I want to ask a question. And instead of asking something about January 6th, this lady just says, so why'd you call me the C word? Right? And Enrique was just like, from what I read, Enrique was just like, hey, you know what? He's like, I don't remember that, you know? And his lawyer was like, hey, what does this have to do with January 6th?
Yeah. I wish he would have said, because it's my freaking First Amendment right.
Right.
Bitch.
So maybe we might consider it's long and boring. I'm telling you guys, I read the whole entire Enrique one. It's like 250 pages. The Noble Beard one was just as long. Yeah, Representative Zoe Logren, or however you say it. Here, watch. You know, I can at least read that. We'll find her name. Because this thing is so long, it's not even funny. And it's boring. It's boring big time. But I know the lawyer that was doing it. And he talks exactly like he does when he's in court. Okay, so you can't search for words in here? I guess I can't search. Oh, well, I can't. It'll be forever to find it. But look, it's 200 and... Where is it? 231 pages. And I think when she came in, it was like, I don't know. But these things they're so boring. And you know what I don't get? They block out the name of the people asking the question. You know they're congressmen or something like that, right? So why are they blocking their name? Why do you guys think they're blocking the congressman's name for what question they asked?
Maybe they're worried about retaliation. Maybe.
I guess, but I just don't understand why they have to block everybody else's name out. I mean, they're Congress. They're on that official, committee. So 300 people associated with JFK have been killed. Where did that come from, Mike Jones? What are they talking about? I'm lost. Probably because I'm tired today. Oh yeah, here is it. Zamora. Let's see. Is it Zamora? You want thank you, Miss Zamora. Oh no, they're talking to somebody else. See, I can't. It sucks that you can't find it. There's a lot of interesting stuff in his deposition, though. Like I think it'd be good to read, but it's long and boring. So I think we shouldn't go into reading it like all at once. I'm trying to see if this lawyer will call me back.
Yeah, I assume that it's not a searchable PDF because they had to overlay the redactions.
Yeah, that's probably why it's not searchable.
Well, I've heard of this before. I haven't seen it in a long time. But sometimes they'll release it as a searchable or, to where you can highlight things. And all you would have to do is highlight where that redacted part is, and you would be able to see what it said behind it. So
really?
They don't do that.
Well, let me try this. Let me find one of the redacted pieces. Nope. Nope, you can't do that. You can't do it.
No, that's why you can't do the Control F and search for certain
stuff.
words I do earlier.
I gotcha.
It's not the same kind of PDF file.
That's true. I kind of really want to find this now, though. Oh, here we go. Miss Lofgren. It says, I see that Miss Lofgren has come to video. Miss Lofgren, do you have a question? And she's like, well, I did have a brief question. Mr. Tario, I have received a copy of a post from you, and it's Enrique's House of Propaganda from your Tario's Telegram. And it's a picture of me holding a piece of paper at a microphone in the Judiciary Committee, and the caption from you is, this, I'm going to spell it out, C-U-N-T, is blind in one eye. And she says, I'm wondering what you meant by that. And so the witness, which is Enrique Tario, says, I wish I could reference the post, miss. How do you pronounce your name? I'm sorry. And she's like, Lofgren. And he's like, Lofgren. I wish I could. I wish I had it in front of me where I could see it, but I'll make sure to look at it, and we'll do a supplemental. So his lawyer's like, did that come from you? And he's like, here's what I think. I don't know if it came from me, but there's multiple people that run Telegram channels, specifically mine. And she's like, all right, I yield back. And then his lawyer's like, I'd like to ask for clarification. I'm just curious, just to sort of clean things up. I don't know if the Representative Lofgren is gone or not, but what it was on Telegram by which handle, he's asking it where it was. And they said it was on Enrique's House of Propaganda. But then he's talking about, he's like, yeah, well, listen, here's another thing. I don't remember, I can't remember what I post, and I don't remember posting that. And it's called, I named it for a little while the House of Propaganda, simply because there was a lot of people who ran that channel. And if you guys don't know, just because you have a channel, other people can run it for you. Like, if you've ever sent a message to somebody on Twitter and they responded, it's probably not that famous person. It's probably their assistant. So he just says that's one of the channels I administrate. And let's see. Oh, and then they went back to it. They went back to the thing. But yeah, so she's like, why did you call me a cunt? It's like, cause you... I'm surprised. Like, had they been out in public, I bet you Enrique would have been like, cause you are. Right? No, you're not getting a treat. You already stole it. No, look. Stop trying to kiss my ass. See, he's trying to kiss my ass. He's in trouble for taking those treats earlier. Here, let me just call this guy real quick. Because he keeps bugging to be on the show, so we're going to call... Not bugging, but he keeps telling me he wants to be on the show. Let's call him. We'll just call him.
Ring, ring. Ring, ring.
I got to hang up before it goes to voicemail, though, just in case. I don't know what it says on his voicemail. It is the day after Christmas, so he's probably busy. All right, we'll see if he calls me back. We'll see if he calls us back. He might. Anyways, I'm calling a lawyer. I'm calling a lawyer. We get a little law experience on here. All right, let's get back to this Twitter file junk. All right, so number 2, it says, so far the Twitter files have focused on evidence of Twitter's secret blacklist, how the company functioned as a kind of subsidiary of the FBI, and how the executives rewrote their platform rules to accommodate their own political decisions. The lady who disappeared, I'm not sure who you're talking about. It says, what we have yet to cover is the Rona. This reporting for the free press is one piece of that important story. So guys, once again, we're just reading what this is in the news. This is on Twitter. The United States government pressured Twitter and other social media platforms to elevate certain content and suppress other content about COVID-19. Internal files at Twitter that I viewed while on assignment for the FP, whatever that is, showed that both the Trump and Biden administrations directly pressed Twitter execs to moderate the platform's pandemic content according to their own wishes. At the onset of the pandemic, according to the meeting notes, the Trump administration was especially concerned about panic buying. They came looking for help from the tech companies to combat misinformation about runs on grocery stores, but there were runs on grocery stores. So it said, let's see what, I don't know, this is confusing. It says the Trump White House, specifically Michael Krastios, led the Trump's administration calls to help from the big tech companies to combat misinformation. Areas of focus included conspiracies around 5G cell towers, runs on grocery stores, and misinformation that could stoke panic and behaviors. So if Trump was doing this, that pisses me off too. We're supposed to be free speech here. Like, how many times do you guys see trolls come in here and they talk shit? They talk shit about me all day long. And I don't kick them off. Because that's their free speech. Like, we had a troll in here the other day. He was talking all kinds of mad shit. I let him stay. And then he called Snooki a word. And that's what it took him to call Snooki a word before I kicked him out. Because it's free speech. But I don't have to listen to you calling somebody a C word. Number 7. It just wasn't Twitter. The meetings with the Trump White House were also attended by Google, Facebook, Microsoft, and others. What does Microsoft own, guys? That they could, like, does Microsoft own a platform where they get sent? Oh, Bing. Bing is Microsoft, isn't it?
Xbox.
Yeah, but on Xbox, there's nobody really chatting, though, I don't think. Is there?
I have no idea.
Anyways.
Android?
Let's see.
Is Microsoft Android?
What's that?
Is Android Microsoft?
No, I don't think it is. So it says, when the Biden administration took over, one of their first meeting requests with Twitter execs was on COVID. The focus was on the anti-vaxxer accounts. You know what? You could be you could say whatever. If I owned the platform, I would let you say whatever the hell they want. And here's the thing. Because they're supposed to be, what is it? The 230, whatever this is supposed to protect websites from getting in trouble for what people say on them. Okay? So why are you censoring people? Let them say what they want to say. Let everybody weed out who is, what's that, Luvius? Who is telling the truth and who isn't. Because you know what? If we start letting the government decide what's true and what's not true, then we're screwed. I think we're already screwed, guys. What do you think, Gra? What do you think, Drunk?
Pretty close. Pretty close.
You know, if you have to censor media and you want to say they're fake, well, so what? So what? If somebody wants to believe something, that's their God-given right to believe it. And we should look at the Biden stuff. They kept saying, oh no, the Biden laptop, the Hunter laptop, that's fake news. Well, what happened? We found out it's really true.
Here's the bottom line, my opinion to all this.
All right.
There is absolutely no reason whatsoever that our government should be giving our tax dollars to any social media platform. No reason at all. No excuse, no reason, period.
Yeah, because,
that's my opinion.
Yeah, so you're right, and they're giving money, and then they're telling people, well, you've got to stop people from saying this. Well, if you put 2 and 2 together, that means, well, you know what? If you don't stop them from saying this, we're not going to give you money next year, right? It's all collusion against us, folks. You don't know it, but we're actually in communist Russia and China nowadays. The very first time you got thrown in Facebook jail, you got into a communist state. The very first time you got kicked off of Twitter for saying something, or YouTube, well, welcome to communist. Am I wrong, or what do you think, Drunk? I know you're tired, but
It's definitely the beginning stages for sure.
Anytime
You gonna
you're
ask
free.
you gonna ask my opinion?
Yeah, I was waiting for you to just throw yours in. I know drunk is tired, so I'm trying to include him.
Right on. The entire Biden family are compromised, by the CCP. It's evident. Day one, anything that helped the CCP out, Joe Biden signed a ticket to it.
Yeah.
They've either threatened the Biden family, or they've got so much dirt on the Biden family that they have to do anything and everything CCP tells them to do. Look at the land. They just bought land next door to one of our Air Force bases. Where was it at? Anybody in China remember? Anybody in China? Anybody in chat remember where that was?
I'm not sure. But
yeah, they bought some corn mill factory miles from one of our naval bases or one of our military bases.
Interesting. And you know, the problem is you mentioned the Bidens. It's not just them. It's probably every single politician. And I mean on both sides.
Sure.
Both sides. I mean, think about it, folks. Look at Nancy Pelosi. There's a story today. It says how Nancy Pelosi went from being a housewife to the most powerful woman in Congress.
Right. Minnesota. Oh, it was North Dakota. It was North Dakota.
It was North Dakota? Okay.
Yeah.
And, but I mean, they all have somebody, they've all done something wrong. Like they say, if there's no way you can be a large scale company without doing something wrong.
Well, they did the same thing to Swalwell that they did to Hunter. You know, they give him the little China hooker. Oh, yeah. I thought, give me one of them little Chinese girls, and they're like, "Oh, okay, you got one." Yeah. So they're, you know.
I was watching this new show. It's not new. It's like 2 years old or something, and I think it's called Spyware or something like that. It's a documentary. It's like one season long, and they said the best way to get people is sex. They're like the easiest way to get somebody to spy for you is you get a female or a male, you know, whatever the opposite sex is that they like, and you get them to fall in love, and then all of a sudden they start saying, "Oh my gosh, you know, if I don't give this information, they're going to kill me."
Unless you're Buttigieg, and then it's going to be of the same sex.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, Pete Buttigieg, however you say his name. You know, I know how to say it. I'm just saying it wrong on purpose. Yeah. So all politician guys are like, that's why they hated President Trump. That's why I voted for President Trump. He was a businessman. I mean, look at Joe Biden. Him and his wife are taking over $5,000 a month, or almost $5,000 a month in Social Security. President Trump donated his paycheck from being president to veterans, first responders, every single time.
He lost money. He lost money for that 4 years he was president. He lost money.
Yeah, he was up here on the top people, the richest people in the world list, and now he's lower because of being president.
Grand Forks Air Force Base. Right, Charles. Thank you, Charles.
Thank you, Charles. Grand Forks Air Force Base. Mike Jones says, I posted the laptop contents on Facebook during the 2016 election and got permanently banned. Don't you mean the 2020 election? I think you mean the 2020 election.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's all right. We all make mistakes. But anyways.
Mike Jones, laptop first.
Yeah, he knew about the laptop before it even happened. Mike Jones is reading people's minds.
I found out just a couple months ago, Oklahoma has more land that's been purchased by the CCP than any other state in the country. Now that to me is a little frightening. Yeah.
Well, from what I understand, CCP is buying up everything around here. And so you know what makes me think? You know how it just popped in my head right now, so maybe this is already known, maybe it's not. BlackRock. BlackRock is the company that they talk about that's been buying up all these homes across the United States.
That's on the top. That it's right up there with the NBA and all of them. Sorry, Eddie. Yeah, they posted a list today, I believe, on the 5 at 5 or whatever, and they put that list up. And NBA, BlackRock, ABC, CBS,
What about them?
everyone that has investments in China.
Oh, okay. So see, I wouldn't be surprised if China's not part of BlackRock buying up the whole entire country. Think about that. They don't want us to own property anymore. If you own a house and somebody, how many people own a house? I sold my house in 2021. I still get phone calls at least once a week. Hey, would you like to sell your house? Hey, would you like to sell your house? And they're paying whatever you ask for your house, guys. Because they don't care. They just want to buy up whatever's in the United States. And that's what scares me. When you have people calling you and offering you more money than what your house is worth, there's some reason behind it. What do you guys think? Everybody here that I hear, they're doing it because they're turning it into a timeshare, or what do you call those, Airbnbs. I don't think that's what they're doing. I think they're just buying up our country.
Well, you just turn them into rental properties, and before you know it, there's nothing left to buy. So,
Dan Hobig's lawyer.
All right, hold on 1 second, guys. Hey, Dan.
You okay?
Yeah, I was calling you because you said you wanted to be on the show. I'm live right now. Do you want to be on the show?
Let's wait, but thank you.
I'm sorry. Let's wait. Okay. All right.
Let's wait. Not the best time. I'll explain later.
Okay.
But, we look forward to presenting the evidence.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. I got to take you off speaker. Hold on. Okay, go ahead. Hey, guys, you want to talk for me?
I forget what I was saying. What did I say, Raw?
All right, bud. Talk later. Bye.
Oh, never mind. He's done.
All right, sorry about that. He started saying stuff that I wasn't sure if he wanted. So what he told me to say to you guys right now, so that was Joe Big's lawyer. The big trial has already started. And he said, go team, go. We look forward to presenting the evidence that's going to prove our client's innocent. So that's what he just said.
I gotcha.
So that's Joe Big's lawyer.
I remember what I was saying. Eddie, I bet if you think really hard, that probably whenever you decided to sell your house, that I probably told you that if you were going to sell your house, that you needed to buy something immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And you did. You did with the pull behind. But my thing is, they're just going to keep buying up property. Like if they buy like mansions or micro mansions or mini mansions or whatever the hell you call them, they can cut those up into 4, 6, 8 apartments, or just turn normal houses into rental property.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's no real estate left to get, because they always say invest in land because they don't make it anymore.
Yeah.
They don't make it anymore.
That's true.
It's a good investment.
Yeah, investment that's the long term stuff. Anyways, yeah. Sorry, my brain just froze for a second. I read something and I had to stop myself. But yeah, BlackRock. I would not be surprised if those guys have somebody in the company of BlackRock is owned by the Chinese government. Let's see if we can do a search real quick on BlackRock. Is it all one word? Oh, my internet's.
Yeah, Eddie, I was going to say you're behind a little bit. BlackRock is CCP.
Is it for sure?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, we know part of BlackRock. We just invest. We invest a lot, but we know BlackRock.
Okay, I'm trying to Google BlackRock and I can't. It's not going anywhere.
Here's a little something on the side I want to talk about, because now that we've got Congress starting January 3rd, and we're going to do all these investigations.
Yeah.
It better not turn out just like Benghazi did. They do all the investigations and nobody was held accountable for a freaking thing. Now, if they don't hold these people accountable this time, I think Jim Jordan's going to be a freaking thorn in their side. He's going to give them a hard time. Ron Johnson's going to give them a hard time about the Kool-Aid. If they don't hold somebody accountable, Fauci, Biden, Mayorkas, just to name a few, everybody in chat, who else needs to be held accountable? Adam Schiff. Who else do you think in the chat, everyone? Who would you say needs to be held accountable for crimes against the country? High crimes and misdemeanors.
I say all the news agencies.
Absolutely, and a lot of them are on that list.
I'd say, YouTube, Twitter, all those places. Although I think YouTube might get a break because Elon Musk took it over, but that doesn't mean they can't go over the people who were running it before. I would go after Jack Dorsey. Yeah, what did I say?
YouTube.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Twitter. They should go after Jack Dorsey, who used to run it, all the people that were in charge of it before. Anybody in these Twitter files, right? Now, I got a question to you. Do you think Elon Musk is just sharing this because... Do you think he bought Twitter just like, $44 billion? Fuck it, I'll have fun with these guys. Or do you think he's also giving this information out so he can cover his ass? I think part of it's to cover his ass so he can say later, hey, look, the minute I bought Twitter, I told you guys what happened. My hands are clean.
I'm thinking the chain of custody may go that, and this would suck if it did have to go this way. But since I wasn't the owner nor agent of Twitter whenever all this stuff happened, however, he is now CEO, owner, blah, 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 that they would have to go after said company. Now, after said company, aka Twitter, is found to be guilty of these things, then Elon will have to turn around and collect from individual A, B, C, D, and so forth.
Mm-hmm. Here's the thing that concerns me most about him exposing the Twitter files.
Yeah,
is the amount of stuff that the level of corruption that he shows us is not going to be the complete level of corruption in our country. In other words, he can't expose that because if he does, it's going to be proof that the Chinese Communist Party has taken over our country. And if he does that, that's an automatic declaration of war because they've overthrown our government from within. And if he had the files to prove that, that's automatically a declaration of war. So it wouldn't surprise me that they're telling them, look, you can't tell the people of this country that because it's automatic treason. Yeah. And treason it's an automatic declaration of war. They would not have control over us automatically saying, hey, that's the law. We got to lock and load.
Well, and speaking to that, so I think you're right. And I also think, look, he's not going to give out all the dirt, right? He's right. So you can imagine with the dirt that he's given us, can you just imagine the shit that he's hiding? You know?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. They're showing us the roach in the ashtray when there's a pound in the trunk.
There you go. That's the best way of saying it. Thank you. Yeah. That's you know, you ever watch the cop shows or something like that, and people try and get away. He's like, oh yeah, you know, officer, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you. You don't gotta search my car. There's a joint right there in my ashtray. Hoping that the cops will say, okay, he's being honest with us. He showed us the joint, but then, like Gra said, in the trunk. There's fucking...
Yeah, do you mind if I search your car? Well, do you have a search warrant? I already told you I got a roach in the ashtray. Yeah, well, what's that smell, the rotten flesh coming from your trunk?
Exactly. You know, it's just like with Trump. You know, President Trump was great at this. You know, because the news was going after him all the time, right? So what would he do? He'd start a little fire over here because he's doing something really big over here that he doesn't want. It's like it's magic. You know how magic works, folks? They focus your hand over. They're like, hey, look over here. Look what I'm doing here. You see the card? You see the card over here? When in all reality, somewhere over here, he's doing something. So he's making your eyes look here so you don't see what he's doing over here. That's how magic works. That's why they call it the sleight of hand. What's up, Red? All our politicians are magicians. They all do that sleight of hand. All business owners do it too, right? Like they say, I said it a few minutes ago. There's an old saying that says you don't become great in business by doing everything, following the rules. You got to break some kind of rules to get where you are, get going, right?
And for those that have Fox Nation, Tucker Carlson, his newest thing is called Biden Inc. And he shows the part on there where I've talked with you about it before. The leadership of the CCP they're talking to their leaders, right? And the guys up on the stage with the little headgear, and he's explaining how that during the Trump years there wasn't anything they could do. They had basically lost. They did not have control of the United States, but now we have Joe Biden in office. We are back in power, and now that's straight from them. And why doesn't mainstream media? Why didn't Fox even? They should show that every day. If they do, if they did that, our country would panic. If that was something we saw every day, how they're talking about, we're back in charge now that Joe Biden's president.
I got you.
But it's a legit deal. It's straight up happened. That's what they're talking about it.
Yeah. And Andy in Colorado says, I'm pretty sure you admit to having a joint ashtray you've given the probable cause. That's true. But what they do is they try and show, they're like, here's this little joint. Yeah, I got a joint. I'm sorry. They're just trying to make you not look other places. That's all he's trying to do. So by Elon Musk giving us this, we're trying to say that, look, he's not going to give us the big stuff. What he's given us may be like eye-opening and holy shit, but it's probably the small shit. It's the big shit that he's hiding. And so Mandy
But then that goes right back to the investigations that they're going to start January 3rd. They're going to have to, the main guy, one of them's going after Biden. He's like, I'm not going, this is not about Hunter. This is about Joe. Okay. So they'll stop at impeaching him. They won't give us the intel letting us know that Joe Biden is actually the Biden family or members of the Chinese Communist Party. They won't tell us that, but it's obvious.
Oh, sure. And so that's why Mandy J was saying earlier she doesn't trust Elon. I don't trust Elon, but I'm enjoying the shit that he's giving us. Right? You can't trust anybody nowadays. You guys shouldn't trust me. You definitely don't want to trust Gra. Because he likes Bite Girl. And Corinne.
Yeah, not at the same time.
Not at the
Well, wait a minute.
Maybe at the same time. Maybe at the same time.
I haven't seen much of either one of them in a long time.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't go looking out for
making the same.
All right, so let's get back to this Twitter stuff. Number 10 says Berenson sued and then settled with Twitter. In the legal process, Twitter was compelled to release certain internal communications which showed direct White House pressure on the company to take action against Berenson. How was White House? It says crossed fingers. I don't know what this means. Overall, pretty good. They had one really tough question about Alex Berenson. Hasn't been kicked off from the platform. Otherwise, their questions were pointed but fair. So number 11, a December 2022 summary of meetings with the White House by Lauren Culbertson, Twitter's head of U.S. public policy, adds new evidence of the White House's pressure campaign and cements that it repeatedly attempted to directly influence the platform. We already know that now. It says the Biden team was not satisfied with Twitter's enforcement approach as they wanted Twitter to do more and deplatform several accounts. So the Biden administration is saying, you need to stop these people. You need to hide them. How many of these are there? How long is, we're number 11. There's 28, 30, almost 40 looks like. Okay, so we're at number 11, right? We're going to do this, then we're going to go. So number 11 says a December 2022 summary of meetings within the White House by Lauren Culbertson, Twitter's head of U.S. public policy, adds new evidence of the White House's pressure campaign. We were on 12. Okay, we read that. Number 13, Twitter executives did not fully capitulate to the Biden team's wishes. An extensive review of internal communications at the company revealed employees often debating moderation cases in great detail. And with more than care, than what was shown by the government towards speech. So that's one good thing about liberals, right? Liberals, they're liberals, but at the same time, they're like, well, maybe we shouldn't be doing this. At least they question themselves sometimes. Not all liberals are bad liberals. So number 14 says, but Twitter did suppress views, many from doctors and scientific experts, that conflicted with the official positions of the White House. As a result, legitimate findings and questions that would have expanded the public debate went missing. Now, here's the biggest issue, guys. Doctors. They're not letting they silence doctors on Twitter and other social media platforms. The greatest thing in the world is debate. People having different opinions and talking things over. Because just because one person says I'm right and I'm always right doesn't mean it's true.
Eddie, one of the doctors they silenced early on, and I forget his name, but he was up there. He was in that round meeting with Ron Johnson, McCullough, and Malone. Early on, they blocked him because he said he had treated 150,000 patients with hydroxychloroquine and what they called the Z-Pack back then. Remember when they were talking about the Z-Pack?
We got to be careful what we say here, girl. We are
okay. All right. Well, I'll just put it this way: that he treated 150,000 patients with therapeutics, and how many deaths do you think he had?
Very little, probably.
Zero
deaths. Wow.
There you go.
Okay, there you go.
150,000.
But what I don't know how old the youngest one is in here, but when I was a kid, you go to the doctor, they always say, well, make sure you get a second opinion. What is the United States telling us? Don't go get a second opinion. No, just believe us. Just believe us. That's what they're trying to say. You don't want that. You want to think yourselves, folks. That's why I hope you come here, so you can think for your own. Number 15 says, there were 3 serious problems with Twitter's process. First, much of the content moderation was conducted by bots, trained on machine learning and AI, impressive in their engineering, yet still too crude for nuanced work. So computers are what's censoring us. That's why if you ever notice, like, somebody will get kicked off of YouTube like within seconds of saying something because it's a computer doing it. It's not people. It's not people. So number 16 says this. Second, contractors in places like the Philippines also moderated content. They were given decision trees to aid in the process, but tasking non-experts to adjudicate tweets on complex topics like myocarditis and mask efficiency or efficacy data was destined for a significant error rate. So what they're saying is this. Somebody from the Philippines is judging what you say and deciding if you're telling the truth or not. Here's the problem with that. If they're from the Philippines, English is probably their second language. Right? When we're speaking on Twitter, we talk in slang, you know? You have to short everything up. So what they may conceive as something bad could maybe not be something bad. You know? Maybe we're being facetious about something. But they don't know the difference because this is not their first language. They didn't grow up speaking English. They grew up speaking Tagalog. Isn't it Tagalog? The Filipino language, Tagalog, right? Yeah. 17. Huh? What's wrong?
I saw their language was Filipino.
No, it's called Tagalog. Tagalog or Tagalog, something like that. I've dated a couple Filipino girls. Okay, so 17, most importantly, the buck stopped with higher level employees at Twitter who chose the inputs for the bots and the decision trees and subjectively decided escalated cases and suspensions, as it was with all people and institutions. There was individual and collective bias. So, like, I can give you guys an example. Tagalog, thank you, Andy. I went and filmed an event on this drug called remdesivir. I had 4 or 5 doctors speaking, all PhD holding doctors, and I got kicked off of YouTube for 2 weeks for medical misinformation.
One of the doctors was McCullough. I actually got to ask him a question. That was awesome.
Yeah, right. So they let me ask questions because I was their main filmer, and Gra was like, I got a question. So Gra asked the questions on here, and I asked Dr. Peter McCullough live for Gra.
Even though you got the medications mixed up, it was still the same question.
Yeah.
Because I was asking about the HCQ, and you asked about the other one. I won't say.
Yeah.
But it's still the same result.
Yeah. So we got kicked off, right? And I kept pushing and fighting them, and they're like, "But sir, it goes against our it's a violation of our rules." And I said, "No, it's not. These 5 people on stage were all medical doctors," and this went back and forth, and so what they decided to do was they deleted my video, but they took the strike away. But still, they took my video down and wouldn't let me have it any longer. And I was like, but you guys are you a doctor? And they're like, no, but the government tells us. The government tells us. That's what they said.
There you go. Nailed it.
The government tells us. Hold on, let me take a drink real quick here.
I'm from the government. I'm here to help.
Yeah. Anytime somebody tells me you don't need to get a second opinion, just listen to me. You know what? You know who does that? You guys ever go to those mechanics? I say, oh yeah, I'll fix your shit. Don't worry. You don't need to go anywhere else. I'm gonna fix this. It's gonna cost you $1,200. And you tell them, oh, but I think I'm gonna go. Let me get a second opinion. Oh no. You know what? You don't need a second opinion. I promise. I'm telling you the truth. You know,
to be honest, I don't know if your car will make it that far. You better be glad that you stopped right here. You could have went a mile down the road. Your whole car just. Those tires ain't gonna get you there. Oh yeah, I remember one time a company's like, you know what, we can't let you drive your car legally. We're responsible. Your car could break right now, so we can't legally let you take that car away. You know you're getting hustled. You know you're getting hustled.
That's the old scam back in the 70s. I'll try to make this quick.
All right.
People come in like in a $high-dollar motorhome. Want an oil change, and like, okay, and they're like, you want to change that rear end grease? Well, and all the fluid, yes. So, trick was you put brake dust in the drain pan where you drain the oil or the rear end grease or the oil or whatever. Even on the oil tank, you put the brake dust in there. Then you drain the oil. Then you go show them, oh my God, you got metal parts in your engine. But they would do it with the rear end because they say you got your rear end's going to blow. Your all your gears and everything, they're eating themselves, and you need to change it out. We just happen to have one of the sandwich down the street. Oh God, well yeah, we better do that. We got to be the Yellowstone Park or whatever. They would clean that rear up and spray paint it, and they'd come back the next day and get it. That thing would be all nice and shiny or whatever.
Yeah.
What's the bill? $5,000.
Yeah, it's all scams.
Man.
Mike Jones says, a doc scolded my dad over Agent Orange and literally said it was safe enough to drink. That's funny because I was watching this spy show, and they're showing how they, they assassinated other people. And assassination, shooting somebody doesn't work good in assassination. They always use some kind of chemical agent to poison them. And you know what they used? Agent Orange. They used Agent Orange to kill other people. So, yeah. All right, let's see. Let's get back to this. Number 18. With COVID, the bias bent heavily toward establishment dogmas, meaning do as I say, according to the government. Number 19. Inevitably, dissident yet legitimate content was labeled as misinformation, and the accounts of doctors and others were suspended both for tweeting opinions and demonstrating true information. Exhibit A, Dr. Martin Koldorf, an epidemiologist at the Harvard Medical School, tweeted views at odds with the U.S. public health authorities and the American left. The political affiliation of nearly the entire staff of Twitter. And I'm not going to read it because I'm pretty sure we can get in trouble for that, so we'll avoid that, but you can go read that. Number 21 says, internal email showing intent to action by a moderator saying that Cooldoor's tweet violated the COVID-19 misinformation policy and claimed he shared false information. So Twitter saying, oh, that's false information. Some guy who maybe has a PhD, but it's a PhD in frickin' like liberal arts or art history, made this decision. Not a doctor. Not an actual doctor. You know, I got to get that soundbite. Remember in Half Baked? He's not a doctor. He's just a dentist. One day I was at my dentist office, and back when I used to have a Droid, you could download those ringtones, you know? I guess you still can. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, hey, doc, call me. And so Dr. Joe calls me, and my ringtone was, you're not a doctor, you're just a dentist. He started laughing. He's like, next time you want your medications, don't contact me. This next one's for the chat. What's Sagittarius saying? Number 22, but Kildore's statement was an expert's opinion, one which also happened to be in line with vaccine policies in numerous other countries. Yet it was deemed false information by Twitter moderators merely because it differed from the CDC guidelines. So are you hearing this? Twitter moderators just blocked it. That's like Graw going and blocking one of your guys' statements because you said Graw is an ugly old crotchety fuck, and so he blocks it.
Yeah, go ahead, say that. See what happens. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, say it. See what happens. But
yeah, and you know what they did? The moderators over there, they all got together and they collaborated under Elon Musk's nose without majority of it without his knowledge. They're like, okay, we have to make up some type of, instead of calling it shadow banning, they called it something else. Somebody in chat will remember.
What's up,
They didn't call it shadow banning. They called it vision reduction or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And made up a whole completely new category that they could use at their own discretion as to whether or not that should be
What's up, Tom P?
Seen or not. Yeah, go ahead and block Andy. Would you just kick him out?
Yeah, Andy, you're blocked. Andy, you're blocked now. Just because you talk shit about we're the new Twitter gods here.
Where's the new Twitter gods?
We're the Twitter gods. Let's see. Manny says perfume is an example, or anything that has perfume of our country trying to off us. Most countries have thousands of chemicals that are banned from being used to make products. We have 11. Interesting. So after Twitter took action, Cooldoor's tweet was slapped with a misleading label, and all replies and likes were shut down, throttling the tweet's ability to be seen and shared by many people. Yeah. Number 24. In my review of internal files, I found countless incidents of tweets labeled as misleading or taken down entirely, sometimes triggering account suspensions simply because they veered from the CDC guidelines. The CDC is not the know-all, folks. You always get a second opinion. Always get a second opinion. Uh-oh, EFO's getting in trouble now, too. Number 25 says, a tweet by Kelly KGA, a self-proclaimed public health fact-checker with 18,000 followers, was flagged as misleading and replies and likes were disabled, even though it displayed the CDC's own data. So I got a story about this. Remember, guys, last year, I think Drunk Uncle was off that day or he was sick or something, and Jeff Perrine called in. You guys, the Prudent Patriot, Jeff Perrine. He calls in, and he's like, Eddie, let me read to you the mask. So he had a mask in his hand.
Remember.
It wasn't opened. It was just a mask. And he read word for word what it said on the packaging of this mask. And we got kicked off of YouTube for a week for medical misinformation. For reading the directions on the mask. How's that for...
That's why I'm saying they didn't have to have a reason that this whole time for the past 4 years or longer, they don't have to have a reason. They're like, he said bad shit before.
Right.
Let's just he did bad shit 6 months ago on one of his streams. Let's take him down, give him a strike, right? How many times you seen that happen to streamers? What did they give you a strike for? Something that I put up a year ago. What?
Oh, thank you, Tom P. You gave me $1.49 for a hot dog with ketchup. I got to go to Costco now and get a hot dog. It comes with the soda, too. So I got a funny story about that. So when I was a plumber, once again, thank you, Tom. I always, all the time, would buy lunch for my apprentices, because they're apprentices. They're just starting out. They barely have any money, and so I bought them lunch all the time. And then one day, I was like, "Hey, Jose, we're gonna go to. I gotta go get something at Costco. Why don't we just have Costco lunch today?" He's like, "Well, you know what, then, Eddie? I'm going to make up for all the times you bought me lunch. I'm going to buy you Costco hot dog today for lunch." And I was like, "But Jose, I normally buy you $10, $15 lunches." "Well, then you can get 2 hot dogs, Eddie." Oh, it's just funny.
Now you're even. You're all even.
Yeah, he's like, "Well, now we're even." It was just funny,
It's the thought that counts, man.
Yeah. Let's see, number 28. Whether by humans or by algorithms, content that was contrarian but true was still subject to getting flagged or suppressed. And here's what I think. If you sit there and you write something, "This is my opinion and this is what I think," I don't think you should ever be taken down for misinformation. It's your opinion. Oh, thank you again. Tom B.
They were talking about that today, Eddie, and there were people that had like 6 followers that were getting taken down. There were people that were actually sending private messages, and they were getting taken down for the private messages that they send, because it's easy to scatter, spread it out.
Oh yeah, right.
And I'm like, "Oh man!"
David,
So that means they're watching our keystrokes.
yeah.
That's all they got to do is watch our keystrokes.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I don't think Sagittarius. Costco no longer has the Polish dog. David Aguilar says, "Did the instructions on the mask say that Gra is super old and crotchety?" Oh my gosh. Mike Jones says, "I hope they sue the individual censors and sue them individually."
Well, they've been calling the big ones out by name, and they said they're going to go right down the line. So,
well,
like I said, investigating them is one thing. Holding them little bastards accountable
is a whole other thing. Yeah.
Well, they're an agent. They were an agent of Twitter, so circumvents back to my original statement. I don't think you can go after them individually because they were working as an agent.
Yeah, but if they collaborated within the business amongst themselves, made their own little clique, for example.
Yeah. Well, look, think of it this way, Drunk. I think you're wrong, and here's why I think you're wrong. Because have you ever seen, a cop does something wrong, right? They sue the cop and they sue the police department and the city.
Yeah, and another thing, Drunk could possibly could be, it makes sense, but like I said, if they collaborate together inside the business and do something that actually is not covered under TOS, that they make up themselves, which is what they did, but they were influenced by the feds to do that, you see. So that kind of in Drunk's comment, that kind of keeps them from being held accountable by being influenced by the feds going in there and say, "You guys are going to do this," or, like they told the guy with the laptop. Well, usually people that don't talk don't have anything to worry about.
Yeah.
Oh, what does that mean?
I see what you're saying though. Like, if they were doing stuff, let's say you work for me, and like I say, no selling to minors, because that is my thing. Mm-hmm. But you go and you do sell to minors.
Wait, hold on a minute. Let's just clear. You said that don't sell to minor because that's my thing. Drunk is not saying that he sells to minors. It's a business that he ends.
This is scenario.
Yeah,
this is your business, and I'm just
I'm just trying to keep you out of trouble, buddy.
Yeah, and they do that against like company policy, then they could be going out after individually, most likely. But if company A said, "Yeah, do this," even though it was not legal to do, then company A is held responsible. So I see what you're saying. Like, if it was done outside of the parameter
Yeah, it's like me and all the other employees were stealing your cigarettes and selling them out the back door to minors without your knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm looking up something. Yeah, no, totally.
And there's a roach in the ashtray.
Yeah, there's a roach in the ashtray. That's all I got. It's just a roach in the ashtray. That's it, guys. That's all. I forgot I didn't go click on Rumble to see if there's any chat. Last night we did all our music in Rumble, and it was pretty cool. Rumble does have issues. I don't like Rumble, to be honest yet. It's nothing like YouTube, but hopefully they're working on it. So let's see. This one says, this tweet was labeled misleading even though the owner of its content, a physician, was referring to results of a published study.
Interesting. Does it say which doctor?
Yes, Dr. EU, let me see. EUB, I don't know. It's hard. It's EU, where'd it go now? EUZEBIUSZ. It's their Twitter name. I'm not sure, but they're a doctor apparently. So look at this. Andrew Bostom, a Rhode Island physician, was permanently suspended from Twitter after receiving multiple strikes for misinformation. One of his strikes was for a tweet referring to the results from a peer-reviewed study on mRNA vaccines. So peer-reviewed, that means other doctors all reviewed this study, and it was a study that they had done. So what this means is this. It's science, folks. It's a science review. People that did tests. This is not just their observations. This is an actual test. It's real science. What does Dr. Fauci always say? Trust the science. Unless it goes against what Fauci says. Yeah, I am the science.
I'm the science, and I'm telling you, just don't call your doctor. Just stay home till you can't breathe, and then just stay home some more.
Yeah. Yeah, just trust the science. A review of Twitter log files revealed that an internal audit conducted after Bostom's attorney contacted Twitter found that only one of Bostom's 5 violations were valid. So 20% were valid. Number 31 says, the one Boston tweet found to still be in violation cited data that was legitimate but inconvenient to the public health establishment's narrative about the risks of flu versus the risk of COVID in children. So even the 5th one that violated was still something that was true. I'm not zooming in on this stuff, folks, because YouTube will kick me off. You can go to Twitter and read this stuff. It says that this tweet was not only flagged by a bot, but its violation manually affirmed by a staff member is telling that both the algorithmic and human bias is at play. Boston's account was suspended for months and was finally restored on Christmas Day by Elon Musk. Another example of human bias running amok was the reaction to this tweet by Trump. Many Trump tweets led to extensive internal debaters, and this one was no difference. He says, I will be leaving the Great Walter Reed Medical Center today at 6:30 p.m. Feeling really good. Don't be afraid of COVID. Don't let it dominate your life. We have developed under the Trump administration some really great drugs and knowledge. I feel better than I did 20 years ago. They blocked that tweet.
Steroid.
What's that, Gra?
Probably steroids.
Probably steroids. Tom P says, I'm 47. I still haven't had a flu shot. Why start with, something. I don't want to say that because YouTube will kick me off, but everybody can read what he said. Number 34, in a surreal exchange, Jim Baker, at the Times, Twitter's deputy general counsel, asks why telling people to not be afraid wasn't a violation of Twitter's policy violation. What's wrong with something saying don't be afraid, right? How many people die every single year of car accidents and drunk drivers and murders? All he said was don't be afraid.
I don't know about car wrecks, but I know there's one person every 5 minutes that are dying from fentanyl poisoning now. That came out today. Every 5 minutes.
Every 5 minutes somebody dies of fentanyl. Wow.
And poisoning. People keep saying overdose. Stop saying overdose. It's not an overdose. It's poison. It's poison. They're poisoning us.
You know, and I watched I watched a lot of those undercover shows, you know, like the, you know, documentaries, and the drug dealers, they say, you know, what, once your drug kills somebody, everybody wants your shit because they know it's stronger than everybody else's. So, so they're not killing people on purpose, you know, because then they'd lose all of their people. But still, I think they don't. They are. I don't. They are. You think they're killing everybody?
They're Yeah, deliberately.
Why would you want to kill your clients?
It's the Great Reset. It's the Great Reset. They want to reduce the population of the planet. Look at China. China's got what, 1.2 billion people crammed in that little country.
But why would doctors?
Why do you think they're buying our land?
Why would it? Why would drug dealers want to do that? That's their bread and butter.
The bread and butter right now is human trafficking.
Well, we're talking about just for the drug dealers, though. Their bread and butter is the drugs. So, do you think it's the people? Maybe there's somebody putting it in the drugs, you know, that are selling it to the drug dealers.
Well, they're making it in the form of a Xanax, for example. Now they're putting it in Skittle packages and making it colored so kids will eat it.
Yeah, I don't know what that for. That's going to be another discussion.
Yes,
because today's not the day. Because me and Drunk Uncle are kind of out of it.
I played that song today, Mike. Weird that you mentioned that.
Pusher by Steph. Oh, we're talking songs again. Yeah, songs. That was last night, guys. So number 34, it says, in a surreal exchange. We already read that. Yo Roth, Twitter's former head of trust and safety, had to explain that optimism wasn't misinformation. So he says, adding you to the main thread of the subject, in short, the tweet is a broad, optimistic statement. It doesn't incite people to do something harmful, nor does it recommend against taking prescriptions or following mass directives. It doesn't fall within the published scope of our policies. Curious whether you have a different read on it. So they're trying to find a way to kick President Trump off for saying that. So it says, remember this Kelly guy with the CDC data tweet? Twitter's response to her is clarifying. We will prioritize review and labeling of content that could lead to increased exposure of transmission. Mike says, no, Eddie, they get a troublemaker addict. What do you think the dealer's going to do? A troublemaker addict. I'm lost. What is a troublemaker addict, Drunk Uncle? Yes, Nikki says the real drug dealers are the doctors. Twitter made a decision via the political leanings of senior staff and government pressure that the public health authorities' approach to the pandemic, prioritizing mitigation over other concerns, was the science. You keep hearing that, the science. The science. Our government's at a fault for a lot of stuff. They started all the drugs by giving, you know, the drugs to people in low economy areas. What did they give them? What did they start with? Was it crack cocaine? Girl, you might know this, or Drunk, you might know this. What did they first start giving out, the drugs? Was it LSD or something like that?
Well, yeah, the LSD experiment back in the 60s.
That was an experiment with MK Ultra, but I'm talking about, wasn't it the FBI that started giving out drugs, or the CIA started giving out drugs to?
You're talking about the time period that the FBI was dealing in cocaine.
Cocaine was
it? It was the 80s, I believe. I think that was the 80s, wasn't it, Drunk? Anybody in chat?
Well, I know it was Freeway Ricky Ross.
Ricky Ross. Okay.
Yeah.
Tom P says it was crack.
Yeah, but it was crack cocaine, that was for sure.
Crack cocaine?
Cocaine. Crack cocaine.
You got some cocaine, man?
Cocaine.
Man,
cocaine.
I'll suck your dick. Drunk Uncle knows that movie, I think. So 37, Twitter made a decision via the political leanings of senior staff. Oh, we read that. Information that challenged that view, such as showing harms of vaccines, or that could be perceived as downplaying the risks of COVID, especially to children, was subject to moderation and even suppression, no matter whether such views were correct or adopted abroad. Now, I am not an anti-vaxxer, guys, but the people that are anti-vaxxers are normally anti-vaxxers because someone they love was hurt by a vaccine. Just because a vaccine is safe for 99.999% of the world, there's still people that it's not safe for.
Well, while you're on that subject, this Kool-Aid that they're giving us now has killed more people than all of the previous Kool-Aid since the beginning of Kool-Aid. Interesting.
You know, I've been vaccinated up, all my kid vaccinated. You know, when you're in school, when I was younger, you had to have certain vaccinations. You go to school, and actually my Catholic school gave us the free vaccinations. Did they do that at your guys' schools?
Yep.
I don't remember.
Well, in my day, yeah.
Yeah, back in the day, you know, kids at school had to have so many vaccinations. You know, they sent a letter home with you, and the parents had to sign it. Is it okay for your kid to get their vaccinations? And most parents were like, yeah, I don't got to pay for it. Here you go. You know?
Before 1986, and this is in Robert Kennedy Jr.'s book that I have called The Real Anthony Fauci. Before 1986, there were 4 prevalent vaccines: polio, rubella, and what's the other 2? I never can remember. And so when you got 4 shots.
Oh, tuberculosis was probably one of them.
Tuberculosis, yes. So it was and one other. Before that was before 86. After 82, or 82, maybe 82. After that, the CDC and the FDA went to the government, went to Congress. Reagan was in office and said, listen, we can't guarantee that vaccines are 100% safe. And Reagan said, well, can't you just make them somewhat, like 90% safe? No, we can't guarantee anything. And if you don't give us immunity, we're just going to quit making them. So they give them immunity. So ever since 1982, they now give 72 different vaccines,
immunity,
consolidated into 16 different shots.
Yeah.
Now, if you're of my generation, back when I was in school, there was one kid, a friend of mine, Rod, that actually lived up across the road from me, and he's still alive, that had polio at the time. That's the only person that I knew back then that had any kind of disability. Chickenpox. EFO says yes. Since 82.
Oh no, the measles.
You notice how many people?
Isn't it the measles you get a shot for?
I think measles, mumps, and rubella was all consolidated into one of those shots, one of the vaccines.
Yeah, the whole.
And don't quote me on the numbers, but before 82, it was like 4 in 10,000 people would have serious adverse reactions. 4 in 10,000. After 82, it's something like 400 in 10,000. People have different disabilities,
sure,
just mental retardation, just all of a lot of really weird stuff. A lot of it's
been autism, right? A lot of the people that I've spoken to that are anti-vaxxers is because their child has developed autism because of certain.
Absolutely, autism very, very prevalent now.
Yeah, Tom says the what was the one that put the hole in your shoulder? Are you talking about right here? Like if you date people from other countries, they'd have a big hole. That was like females would get like a depot shot or something. I don't know.
I've still got that
from other countries.
I've still got that little scar.
Oh, do you? I never got that.
Yeah,
I must have been different because I'm a lot younger than you, maybe.
Like a little gun, they just everybody gets in line.
Yeah, have you ever watched like like my stepdad was in the military, right? And he said, yeah, when I got sent to Tripoli, North Africa, our whole platoon, all you did was you walked into this little building and you walked in one door, you followed the line and you just went along and you got your shot and then you got another, they just kept giving you shots along the way. He's like, they didn't tell you what that shit was. They said, you're going to fucking war in Tripoli, South Africa. Take this fucking shot. And that's all they kept doing.
And that was the polio shot. I remember that.
It was the polio shot? Okay. I
was in first grade.
So when I was a kid, everybody, they're like, man, what do you got, polio? because polio was so big in the early 80s, you know? They're like, you got polio? And I was like, no, I don't got
67.
polio. Yeah, I have spinal bifida. Just one of them. Just one of my things is spinal bifida. All right.
And the other one of your other things is you're like really short.
I'm really short, yeah. I'm really short. Like on Facebook, there's some... there was something about it's like a conservative. Oh, here I got it right here. It's this girl in conservative singles. I don't know why I'm in there. She's like, a friend asked me what the perfect guy would be. So she's like, tall with dark hair, God loving, tattoos, 2A, love metal music, good skin, wears hats, drives a truck, you know, conservative, pure blood. And so I wrote back. I was like, I got all those things except I'm short and I'm a fat crippled guy on a scooter. So I don't date anybody. Especially, you know, because I don't want to date anybody anymore. I can't. There's too much drama in my life. I don't want to put people through all the drama that I have to deal with the FBI and, you know, all these fucking lawyers I got to buy. You guys don't want my life. You really don't. What's that, drunk uncle?
Okay, from now the rest of the show for the rest of the nights, either finish up the Twitter files or it's time to start talking about food.
Yeah, we're gonna finish the Twitter. No food tonight. I'm actually not that hungry.
No food.
Yeah. So it said, here's the last thing. What might this pandemic and its aftermath have looked like if there had been more open debate on Twitter and other social media platforms? Not to mention the mainstream press. I think that's a good question to end it on. What would be happening, guys? We're supposed to have debate, but Twitter, YouTube, everybody won't let us have debate. Look at us tonight. We're reading these Twitter files, and I couldn't even read all of them to you because I'm afraid of what YouTube will do to me.
Yeah. Well, for one, Trump would be president. That's for one.
Okay. What's number two? Or you just wanted to stay with number one?
No, that's a good question. Go on down the line.
Yeah, what do you guys think? What else do you think that they're hiding from us? Well, aliens for sure. Aliens is the biggest one on the list.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think Adam Schiff and AOC are both aliens.
You know, Adam Schiff kind of does look like an alien. He has those bug eyes and just...
Yeah.
Right?
They got that skinny neck and the big head, you know. And the top of their head, you know, it's like a big V, real skinny chin, and great. Of course, he doesn't really have a very big brain.
No.
So.
No. I can't, you know, I don't know. Have you guys ever, like, who in here is afraid to die? Are you afraid to die, drunk uncle?
Yes.
You are? Are you afraid to die, Gra?
No, I'm not.
Why are you afraid to die, drunk uncle? I'm just curious.
Whatever pain it is, whatever causes so much pain that you die.
Okay.
Well, drunk, the old saying is, drunk, the best you can hope for is to die in your sleep.
Yeah.
You know, so, yeah.
Mike Jones says, I need a gangster lady. A lot of people are afraid of, you know, what the unknown, because you don't know what happens when you die, because there's so many different things, and that could be scary, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and there's a reason to be afraid of death at a younger age. When you get older, there's a reason not to be. One of the funniest things I heard was on 2.5 Men was when their mother was explaining to the guy she was talking to. She says, I think God gave us children so we don't fear death as much.
Yeah, that was a good show.
It's a pain in the ass, you know.
Tom Pieces, he was zapped back twice. Wow. No, like the other day, I was just thinking, you know, I was just sitting here and I'm like, you know, why are we even around? Like, what's the purpose? Like, why does there have to be humans and animals and stuff like that? Why are we here? You ever thought about that? Like, why put us through the pain and suffering of being, because, you know, being a human is, there's pain, there's suffering, there's all the above emotions, right? Worry, scared, love. There's all this good stuff and all this bad stuff. What's the point of it?
We could do a whole show on that some night.
I think we could, huh? What do you guys?
And we want to get hope. We definitely want to get Hope in on that conversation.
By the way, where is Hope? I haven't seen her in a little bit.
She'd probably froze. She got her toes froze to the door.
Maybe, you know, she was talking about how she left her door open, or her door got left open and frozen open, and now we don't see her anymore. She would
She
definitely
probably
be good
wanted
for
to
that.
do the tongue test. She wanted to know if she stuck her tongue to the metal door if it would actually freeze to it or not. So she could probably hear us, but she can't get to the keyboard.
Maybe she's playing with her cat or something, or her fish. Who knows?
What was the one my dad said? I don't know. I'm trying to tell a joke with that one. I want to go out with like my dad did in his sleep, not like the other 5 people that were in his car with him.
Mike Jones says I'm wrong. What am I wrong about, Mike Jones? And he did it in big, bold letters. Big, bold letters. Sneaky Pieces, my question is, why am I still here? Is there something really special that I've yet to do that'll change everything? That's why I wonder. I've thought that before, you know, because I live in a lot more pain than most people do. I mean, a lot more pain. And this normally happens on my bad pain days. I'm sitting there, I'm like, why the fuck am I here? You know, what's my job? And then...
I've got news for everybody.
What's the news?
The fact that you are here now, and the fact that you are here and that you have been here, you have made a difference.
I've made a difference? Are you talking about everybody?
It's a wonderful world. It's a wonderful life.
It's a wonderful life. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the point to that whole show. The fact that what would the world be like without you? What would those veterans had to eat yesterday if you wasn't here, Eddie?
They would have just had their hospital food. Example. They would have just had their hospital food. I gotcha. But is that enough? You know, it makes me wonder, am I doing enough for, you know, I don't know.
It's more than what would have been done without you. That's the point.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Interesting, Mike.
Underestimate the power of what they bring to people's lives a lot of the times.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like the other day. Remember, some guy sent me a message saying, Eddie, it was your show that saved my life. You know?
I'm sure I told you the story when I found the path, when I started going to church, for example.
Mm-hmm.
One of my old 1%er buddies called me out of the blue. Like, Kenny, what are you doing? I'm like, not much, man. How you been? What are you going? He goes, no, I mean, he's like, what are you doing?
Thanks,
and I'm
Cajun.
like, what do you mean? What do you mean, what am I doing? He goes, I've noticed you changed your chat, your text, what you put on Facebook, this, that, the other. And I explained to him, you know, that I found the path, you know, I seen the light, however you want to say it. He's like, that's pretty awesome, man. He goes, can you tell me more?
Wow.
So out of the blue, you see what I'm saying? I didn't go out like, I know you're supposed to go out and go to the door and, hey, have you heard the word? Right. I don't do that. But he came to me, and now he's he works at the local drag strip.
Mm-hmm.
So every Sunday at the races, he goes around and gets everybody together before the races, and they all say a prayer.
Nice.
Now, before this, and this is just a few years ago, he came to me. He's like, Kenny, explain to me how you came to that conclusion. And I went through the whole thing. He knows I used to be a big science guy. It's all about the universe and the stars and dark matter and all that, and he was too, you know.
Yeah.
But my point is, back then he was a 1%er. He still is. Once you are, you always are. But he's just not as involved as he was. Of course, he's older now, like I am. I went to school with him, you know. But my point was, he came to me. He found me about it. So just by me changing my life for what I consider to be the better, I actually changed someone else's life for the better, him and his wife and kids and everything.
That's cool.
So that's my answer to your question.
Right on.
Do I make a difference?
There you go. That's nice. Oh, and by the way, real quick, since you're talking about 1%ers, I haven't seen last night's episode of Tulsa King yet, but what do you think about Tulsa King and now dealing with the 1%ers?
I don't know. I haven't seen it either. I haven't seen this week's.
But did you see last week's?
Was it? Yeah. What does it come out on? Sunday morning, I thought, doesn't it?
Sometime on Sunday, yeah. You know, I didn't think I was going to like the Tulsa King, and I actually like that show.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, good for you.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. No, I mean,
Yeah, I like that typo even. That's a good typo. God for you, Gra.
right? Yeah. Anyways, well, guys, you know what? We've done the Twitter files. I'm not going to talk about food because I'm not hungry. We had too much food for yesterday. We had way too much
Drunk
food.
really looks tired. Drunk
Yeah.
looks really, really tired.
He's tired, and I'm tired, so we're going to let you guys go for tonight. And in fact, we're only trying to do 2 hours anyways, so here we go. We're at 2 hours. Thank you for being here. And guys, don't forget, you got to learn how to get on Rumble and Twitch. Because last night, me, Vinny Wynn, the Breagles, Snookies was there, Hope was there, Willow was there. Mike Jones tried to show up. He had some issues. Sorry, Mike. But we were all over there on Twitch and Twitter playing music, and we jammed all night long. We played rock and roll for like an hour. Then we played some of the Beach Boys songs. Then we went to, country music. Paul and Eric Breagle asked for some country songs. Then we went to house music. We had fun last night. So join us up on Rumble and Twitch because YouTube is eventually going to kick us off again. So check us out on those things.
Yeah.
The links should be down below.
Eventually, we will have no choice but to leave YouTube because there will be nobody left here.
Not unless somebody like Elon Musk buys them.
Get ready for it.
Yeah. So if you enjoy this show, just go like those other links, guys. Mike Jones says, Satan was king. He tried to steal from God and fell. Lucifer took hostages, which are us, and Jesus is the ransom. That's a great way to put it. I've never heard that before.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's
Awesome. Good.
Amen.
That's good.
All right, guys. Well, you have a good night. Thank you for being here. Drunk, you want to say good night? Oh, Gra said it already. Drunk, you want to say good night? There you go. All right, guys.